Hey travelers! In this episode we will show you the best places and top things you can do in 2 days in Chicago.
We will also introduce you to Chicago's best observation decks and much more.
We even have a tip for you where you can spend the evening, so hang on! The first place we visit on this spring day in Chicago is Navy Pier. Navy Pier is nice to visit all year long.
This popular destination offers everything from theaters to shopping, restaurants and even amusement rides like the Centennial Wheel.
But the amazing cherry blossoms can only be seen in spring.
The sky may be cloudy, but the raw beauty of the windy city is still breathtaking. This is just one of several bronze artworks that can be seen here. The captain on the helm is another one. Navy Pier is a 3,300 foot long pier on the shoreline of Lake Michigan. Many of the shoreline sightseeing boat tours start from Navy Pier. Sea Dog speedboat cruises also start here. At the end of the pier we have the Grand Ballroom.
Last but not least, from the Navy Pier you have a great view of Chicago's near north side skyline.
But what would be a visit to Chicago without seeing the Bean?
Attention! Be prepared for large amounts of tourists. Right next to the Bean you can also see the Crown Fountain. Our next destination is Magnificent Mile. Magnificent Mile is famous for shopping. But there is more to discover. The Starbucks Reserve Roastery, for example.
And the 360 Chicago observation deck, of course.
360 Chicago is located in a building officially known until 2018 as the John Hancock Center. This is a 100-story super tall skyscraper.
Currently, the building has no name. It is simply referred to by its address, 875 North Michigan Avenue.
The entrance can be found on the Michigan Avenue side of the building.
Funny enough, you have to go down the stairs first to get to the top of the building.
You can't miss the entrance, because many signs will show you the way. You can buy tickets on site if you come by spontaneously.
But we bought ours online in advance, so we could skip the line at the ticket counter.
Ticket prices vary depending on the day and time you want to visit.
Checking out the website can therefore be worthwhile. As always, you will find the link to the official website in the video description.
After the entrance, you will be guided through a multimedia landscape to the lift. Within a few seconds, the elevator takes you up to the 94th floor. And as soon as the lift door opens, the city spreads out in all its beauty at your feet.
You can see in all 4 cardinal directions up to the horizon. The cars look really tiny from up here.
There in the background you can see Chinatown. And the imposing Willis Tower, of course. In the east, we see Lake Michigan and the Navy Pier. On the north side of the observation deck, we see Lakeshore Drive and Oak Street Beach. In the west you can see the well-known United Center, home of the Chicago Bulls and the Blackhawks.
The west side is of course also the best side to enjoy the sunset. While we wait for the sunset, we want to show you what else the observation deck has to offer.
You will find a shop and a bar here. The bar is appropriately called the Cloud Bar. There is even an outdoor area so that you can experience the full feeling with wind and weather at this height. Last but not least, there is the thrill attraction Tilt. Here you can stand very close to the window and then be tilted 30 degrees outwards together with the window pane. This attraction costs extra. You can purchase tickets in advance,
or for the spontaneous among you, there is a ticket counter directly on the observation deck. In the meantime, the sun has set and the skyline of Chicago shines in the glow of lights.
What a great sight!
But it's getting late. 360 Chicago closes at 11 p.m. Time for us to get to the hotel. By the way, if you are looking for a hotel in Chicago, our episode about the Embassy Suites might be helpful.
The next day, we want to check out Chicago's second observation platform, the Skydeck. In the lobby of the building, you'll find a variety of food stands. Just like Chicago 360, you have to go to the basement first to get to the top.
Since we booked in advance, we could skip the ticket counter and only had to wait until our time slot was open.
Booking in advance has many advantages, but also a big disadvantage, as you will see later in the video.
Compared to 360 Chicago, Skydeck offers more experience in the run-up to the actual attraction. Before you step into the elevator that brings you to the viewing platform, you first walk through an area that is advertised as a museum experience. This museum showcases mainly the architecture of Chicago, but also history, neighborhoods, and sites of Chicago have their place in the 7 curated areas full of photo ops, storytelling, and exhibits. After passing the museum, you get to the elevator and up to the 103rd floor. The weather was very unpredictable during our stay. This is the view we would have seen. And this is what we got.
At that moment, we really regretted that we bought the tickets in advance. However, we can still give you some information about the attraction.
You can move freely around the platform. There are windows in all 4 cardinal directions, and you can stay as long as you want. But for the ledge, you have to queue again.
The ledge? This attraction features glass-floored balconies extending over 4 feet outside of Willis Tower's 103rd floor.
You only have 90 seconds on the balcony, which is not really long. But it's really a special thrill.
Even in bad weather.
Only 1 hour later, the sky was almost blue again.
The weather in Chicago can change so quickly. But we made the best of it and took a river ride on the Chicago River.
There are various possibilities for this. You can book shorter and longer tours.
Some are with a guide, others without.
Suitable links can be found as always in the video description. The probably cheapest option is the Chicago water taxi.
For $10 you are in.
It runs between Michigan Avenue Station and Chinatown Station. In between, there is also a stop at the Union Station. So let's grab a coffee and go.
The starting point, Michigan Avenue, is on the west side of the Wrigley Building. You can buy tickets online or on site. One of the first buildings that we notice is the Jewelers Building.
This is a 40-story historic building. It was built from 1925 to 1927.
At the time of its completion, it was the tallest building in the world outside New York City. Unlike other boat trips, there is no guide on the water taxi. So you have to organize the information about the buildings you drive past yourself.
This is the historic Reed Murdoch building, now hosting the World of Whirlpool. On the left, right after the bridge, we see the LaSalle Walker building. It was used as the backdrop in the 2005 movie Batman Begins.
On our way, we also come across tour boats from other providers that sail on the same route. From afar we can already see the well-known Willis Tower protruding between the other skyscrapers. Soon we discover another Chicago landmark, the Carroll Avenue Bridge. After that, we soon arrive at the Union Station stopover, which is directly opposite the Opera. But we stay on board, since we want to continue to Chinatown. Once again, we see the Willis Tower emerge between the high-rise buildings before the buildings around us gradually become smaller.
Here we meet another highlight, the iconic Union Station Powerhouse.
The Union Station Powerhouse, also known originally as the Union Station Boiler Plant, is part of a network of buildings, systems and rail tracks built in the 1920s and 1930s. It has not been used since 2011 and its future is questionable.
So if you want to see this building, you should probably hurry. The ride on the Chicago water taxi reminds us a little of the water taxi in Copenhagen, which we presented in an earlier video.
The driving time to Chinatown is about 35 minutes.
On the last part of the route, you have the skyline of Chicago wonderfully in view.
What a sight! For us, the trip with the Chicago water taxi was worthwhile just because of that. Besides, we also find it more pleasant to inform ourselves about the surrounding sights than to be constantly entertained by a guide.
Only a short time later, the next historic building appears before our eyes, the St. Charles Airline Bridge.
This railroad bridge was built in 1919 and its future is also uncertain. Shortly before the Amtrak South Branch Bridge, we finally reach our destination, the station Chinatown.
On foot we now explore what Chinatown has to offer.
With the rich range of food and products, fans of Chinese cuisine will get their money's worth here. For the way back to the city center, we use the Red Line. To end our stay in Chicago, we visited a rooftop bar in the evening.
Are you listening? Damn.
The Londonhouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
They serve great cocktails and tasty food.
But mainly you come here because of the view. By the way, the dress code is pretty casual here, as you can see.
This rooftop bar is located directly on the riverwalk. The evening atmosphere is really great. Be warned, the Londonhouse is very popular.
An online reservation is therefore strongly recommended.
You can find the link in the video description.
That's it. Thanks for watching.
And if you like to discover more destinations to see with us, don't forget to subscribe.